Not Broke fam, thank you for tuning back into the channel. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Each and every subscription helps. Hit that button. Cheap Not Broke fam, what's up everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome back. It is Monday, and as you know, we got a very special guest tuning in tonight that's going to help us with some tax information, because you know it's tax season, and I want to make sure everybody has all their things that they need prepared for tax season. But first, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're at 1,400. We need a lot more subscribers, so please tell a friend of a friend of a friend to tune in and subscribe to the channel, because as you know, we're trying to grow, and I am now trying to bring some different people on, different guests on, to just provide some more information to you and all that good stuff. So tonight, as I told you a week ago, we have our tax professional that's going to come on, Mr. Adrain Ducan. He's actually my tax professional. Been working with him for years, done a lot of great things for me, helped me understand a lot of good stuff. So let me introduce to you, everyone, Mr. Adrain Ducan. Thank you for coming on tonight. How are you doing, sir? Oh, let me unmute you. There we go. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. I can hear you perfectly. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate the time. How's everything going?
Man, everything's going awesome, man. Today is the official first day of tax season, and so starting off with a bang. Got a lot of energy now, and I'm really excited to go into some details about taxes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, talking to my viewers and my audience about taxes, because taxes can be a lot, especially if you don't pay them and they end up putting you in jail or you get audited. So I wanted to bring some clarity to taxes, because there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different nuances about taxes, whether you're a contractor or whether you're just paying W-2 taxes. So there's a lot of different things about taxes. So first thing I wanted to get started and ask you was, when should people expect to have all their documents so they can file their taxes?
Good question. So by law, every organization is required to have 1099s and W-2s issued by the end of January. So you should start seeing a lot of the forms, the 1099 miscellaneous, 1099 NECs if you do like Uber driving, things like that. 1099Ks if you've made over 5,000 or more is the requirement, and bank interest statements. All of those should start trickling in maybe the second week of February.
Okay. Now you named quite a few forms. Can you identify which forms are which? The 1095, 1099. I think 1095K. I'm not familiar with all the forms, but can you kind of go over those forms and explain which form is for what purpose?
Yeah, so a W-2, that is what the employer reports to say this is how much income you earned and this is how much taxes that you've had withheld. That's the most common form that most people are filing that have a 9-to-5 job. Those that are independent contractors, they may receive a form like a 1099 NEC. Okay. That document may be given to like Uber drivers, maybe if you sell online, if you have like an eBay store or an Amazon store, individuals that have received $5,000 or more in cash payments, maybe through PayPal or Venmo, those organizations will now start to report that. The other is a 1099 miscellaneous. So if you possibly have like rental properties and things like that, you may see 1099 miscellaneous forms indicating how much the rents were that you had received. So those are the basic ones. I mean, there's others like the 1099 INT. That's if you've received interest from like Bank of America. If Bank of America said, "Hey, you had $10,000 in your account, you made $100 in interest." Bank of America will provide you with a 1099 INT. If
Okay.
you've if you have like a investment account like at Fidelity and you've earned dividends, right? It will be then reported on a 1099 DIV form.
Okay. Now, which form exactly? Because I remember you and I had a discussion. Which form is it that you need for healthcare? Because I remember I had to go through. I couldn't find. I didn't know if I received it. I had to actually reach out and get my healthcare form. So, if you have paid in health, if you paid health insurance, which form do you need to show or be provided with for health insurance?
And it all depends because if you've had health insurance all year, it depends on the type. It could be a 1095C or B, right? Or if you've had Covered California, it just depends on the employer and the type of insurance that you've received.
Okay. And if you don't have health insurance, is the penalty like $500 a month, or is it $500 total for that?
It's about $500 total, and there's a for those that don't, depending on the income, there could be a subsidy, right? For those that don't have it, and income is over a certain level, there will be a penalty.
Okay, and and as far as the health insurance is concerned, when because I didn't receive that, that's something that your employer provides for you, or if you happen not to receive that form, where would you go to get it?
Yes, that's something that excuse me, that the employer should provide. If you've not received your forms, you should actually follow up with the employer, and I'm sure whoever runs the payroll for the organization or the HR, they would be able to provide that form to you.
Okay, great. Now, next question is for contractors. Now, if you're a contractor and you contracted for multiple people, would you receive a 1099 NEC from each contractor?
That's correct. That's
That's
correct.
correct. Okay.
Yes.
A-
Hmm.
And with that being said, now you were we were just mentioning that there is a tax estimate calculator, so that you can be able to kind of figure out what taxes you may or may not owe on your own.
Yeah, that I think this is probably one of the best methods so that you don't owe taxes, right?
Hmm.
It's on the Internal Revenue website. It's called the withholding calculator. It's a very simple calculation. All you need is your last check stub. You take the information from your last check stub and you fill out the calculator. Shouldn't take you any more than 5 minutes. And at the end of the calculation, the it will tell you either you're going to owe or if you're going to get money back. And it says if you owe, please make these changes within your payroll. But my thoughts are if you see that the calculator shows that you will owe, we can make other changes, right? We may increase your contributions. Increasing contributions can reduce your taxable income. Increasing your contributions to your retirement, that's a dollar for dollar reduction, right? So there's a lot of things that just by doing the withholding calculator, you can sit with your tax preparer or someone like myself, and we can show you how you can actually reduce your taxes just by using that calculator.
Okay. And my next question was, when you owe taxes, do you have to pay the entire bill at once, or do you get to make payments?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I know there's a lot of pressure when people have not paid enough taxes in the system. And in the way the tax system works is basically if you make a certain amount of money, you're due to pay the federal government and the state governments, depending if the state has taxable income there, a certain amount. Now, let's just say you have a very large tax bill of I don't know 50,000, right? You owe 50,000 to the Internal Revenue, automatically you'll freak out, right?
Right.
But what I tell people is that don't worry because what you can do is you can set yourself up on payment arrangements. The payment arrangement calculation is the total that you owe divided by 72, right? let's just say we've taken the total, we've divided by 72, and it says you would owe the Internal Revenue $200. Let's just say that's still too much for you to afford within your budget. The next steps is to fill out a request to pay a lower amount. It can be reviewed and approved by the IRS supervisor, and they'll have you to send over another document showing how much money you bring in and how much comes out, and does it make sense for them to lower the amount of your installment arrangement lower than the amount that's dividing by 72 in the total.
Okay, and is that 72 divided up over the time period can vary for anyone? Is that like over 72 months, or is that just divided by 72 to get that amount?
And that's what the calculation is. It's really the total divided by 72 months. That's the 72 number. Mm-hmm.
Okay. My next question would be, have there been any significant tax changes in the code this year? I know we have a new president that just came in office, and the tax code changes all the time. So have you seen any significant changes in the tax code this year that people should be aware of?
Not a lot of significant changes, but I can tell you one that's really important that touches all. That's the standard deduction. Now, the standard deduction, what that is the Internal Revenue gives you an automatic amount of tax credits, right? So, for example, if you're a single individual and you didn't have any write-offs, basically what you would do is you would be able to. Oh, it went to the. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, basically, what you would be able to do is, oh, sorry about that. I don't know how the podcast they picked up on the tablet, but anyway. So what the standard deduction is the Internal Revenue gives you an automatic amount of dollars to reduce your taxable income. So, example, I was just pulling up the actual chart here. So, a standard deduction for a single individual, it used to be 14,600. In 2025, it's 15,000. Head of household, it's 22,500. Married and joint, it's 30,000. Married and separate is 15,000. You might be saying, well, what does all that mean? Basically, the amount of your income will be reduced, even if you don't have any write-offs. It's automatically reduced by the total of the standard deduction. That has been increased by $600 for each person.
Okay. Speaking of $600, I was familiar with if you receive money through Cash App, Venmo. What is the threshold for that for to receive money in those platforms before you have to pay taxes? Is it $600 or more, or is it a little more than that?
Well, those institutions have been instructed that if you've received 5,000 or more, then you will start to receive the 1099s.
Okay, and that should also be sent out by the 31st.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, my next question is: there's been a lot of talk about the child support and about who can claim who now because Trump is in office. Do you have any updates or have you heard anything about that? Because some people say it's true, some people say it's not. I would like to know, have you heard anything about that?
I have. I've had a lot of people reach out to me to verify if the law is valid. And usually, what I tell people, because there's a lot of rumors, especially now that Trump is in office, there's a lot of rumors going around. Some rumors are saying that, well, we're not gonna even have to pay taxes anymore, right? And so, my suggestion to anyone that wants to validate the rumors is go directly to the Internal Revenue website. All the information in regards to taxes, it may seem like, oh, well, I don't understand taxes. Well, usually if you go on the Internal Revenue website, they lay it out where it's very plain and simple and anybody can understand it. If not, I would definitely say sit down with a tax preparer and kind of go over the rules. But in regards to that one's not official as of yet.
Okay, and this would be going to irs.gov.
That is correct.
irs.gov. Okay. Um, my next question would be about you mentioned IRA contributions. Has anything changed with IRA contributions?
So one of the great opportunities about IRA contributions are, so let's just say, for example, you meet with your tax preparer and they say, oh, you know what, you're gonna owe about $1,000. My thoughts are you still have the opportunity, even though it's for a past year, in 2025, you can make a contribution to your 2024 retirement plan as an IRA contribution up to about $7,000. So even that is like the last ditch effort as far as writing off your income. So my suggestion is if you're going to owe the Internal Revenue, let the preparer know, hey, give me a little time. Let me meet my financial advisor. I'm going to make a contribution to my retirement. I'll come back once that's done, right? And then so that we can reduce your taxable income. I would rather you pay yourself than you pay the Internal Revenue.
Right. Yeah. I think everybody would prefer to pay themselves over the internal revenue. Um, Also, have any? Oh, for a second. I remember we were also discussing Nevada. Nevada has had some tax code changes. Can you touch on those?
Yeah, this one is really big. So, what President Trump is looking to have in effect in Nevada is tip earners to be tax free income, right? So, that's really awesome because Nevada in itself, the state of Nevada is tax free, right? So, you don't pay any state taxes. And so, which means if you're a bartender or someone that earns a lot of income through tips, your income is pretty much tax free. Now that it looks like I think he was in Nevada and he was meeting on Monday, so they're in discussions on signing that bill.
Okay. Now I do know California has had quite a bit of wildfires, and if I'm not mistaken, the tax filing date has changed for us in the state of California. Is that correct?
That is correct. One of the things that's happened over time, I think a few years back, we had some issues in San Diego in regards to flooding. You know, it's a horrible thing. That's what's kind of happened in the Palisades and Altadena. And I grew up in Altadena, man. So it's a travesty. And so what the Internal Revenue knows that everybody's going through a really hard time right now, and they've pretty much removed the April 15th deadline. So there's no longer an April 15th deadline for California residents affected in the fire areas, right? So it's not all residents, but what my guide would be is to verify on the Internal Revenue site, right, the irs.gov, and verify that your county is actually one that's been given the extension to October the 15th. The last extension that was done where we had the floods, I believe, that was in San Diego, it was pretty much every county.
Okay. So this particularly applies to Los Angeles County. So if you live in San Francisco, it may not apply to you.
That's correct.
Okay. Uh, Question for people who run small businesses. That's a whole nother set of taxes.
Yes.
What are some of the things that our small business owners should know, especially if you're not a sole prop? Let's say you're filing as an LLC, or if you have not provided your BOI report, because I know that's something new. What would you say to someone that's in that situation?
Yeah, so my first recommendation for any small business owner is to know your numbers. So I'm not only a tax preparer, I'm also an accountant. And one of the things in being an accountant, my first recommendation is the fundamentals. The fundamentals is knowing your numbers. What's your system in tracking your numbers? And so what I've noticed over years, if you don't have a great tracking system, sometimes those small expenses can kind of slip through the cracks where you've gone to maybe buy some tape or you've gone bought envelopes, five here, two here, right? Over time, that adds up. My recommendation would be to sign up for a program such as QuickBooks Online. Most people only need the basic service, and the basic service is like $17. What you do is once you set up the QuickBooks Online, you connect your bank account. That means every expense that comes through the bank syncs into QuickBooks, right? From there, we basically categorize it. So let's just say you went to Staples, okay, that's office supplies. If you went to mobile gas station, okay, so that's automobile, right? That's gas. And so at the end of each month, you would have been able to tally up a number of those transactions to create a report. That report will then, it's called a profit and loss.
P
That
and L.
report will in, mhm. That report will then indicate, did you make money or did you lose money, right? If you made money, it's awesome, right? Maybe you have room for now bringing on staff or building more out of the company. If you're losing money, the numbers will tell you, okay, well maybe I need to cut in certain areas. So the details are in the numbers, and I would definitely recommend for any small business, make sure you have a good accounting system. And one I can recommend would be QuickBooks Online.
Okay, I use QuickBooks Online myself. It's very simple, very easy to use. You know, you can probably get on YouTube and figure it out. I'm actually working on starting a course to train people how to use QuickBooks Online because I've used it so much in my day job. But you know, NetSuite, that's for the big boys. But I'm definitely working on that now. For my viewing audience, if you have any questions for Mr. Ducan, please drop them in the comment section. We'd love to get them answered for you. So I'm going to open the floor up to everyone else that wants to ask those questions. And yeah, I would say
I just got one other thing to add also with the LLCs.
yes.
Know your compliance, because one of the things ever since COVID, a lot of people came out online. You got to get you an LLC. You got to get you an LLC. But no one actually talked about the compliance. No one talked about the mandatory $800 fee that you got to pay the state of California, even if you did no business, right?
Right.
And so knowing those things, there's a statement of information. That used to be where if you missed the deadline by one date, the fee was $25. But if you missed the deadline by one date, it goes to $250. So by state, know the compliance once you've put together your organization, know what you're responsible for outside of tax filings.
Okay. Um, and I think what else did I want to cover as far as taxes go? Yes, audits. How does a person prevent getting audited? And if you are audited, what should you do?
Wow, that's a great question. First thing that you need to do is something like QuickBooks. What's reported on your taxes? Make sure that you have the support to actually show that you paid those expenses, right? And so I notice what a lot of people do when they get ready to have their taxes filed. You'll say, "Well, how much was your supplies?" Well, let me see. I think it was like 300, 400. That won't work in an audit, right?
Right.
That rounding up guesstimation, basically the auditor, if you're caught up in an audit, they will disallow whatever you don't have support for. So if you're a small business and it shows that you have $50 in office expenses, then you need to have a filing system where you've kept those receipts to show if it's called upon you have $50 in office expenses.
Now, would what you have in QuickBooks suffice, or do you need to have backup for that? So let's say you have all your expenses on your P&L, but you're not necessarily, you know, everything you have it on your debit card, and you're swiping on your debit card, and everything's flowing through QuickBooks. But I don't necessarily save all my receipts. Should you save every receipt you have in case you have an audit? Because I know I think they can go back up to 7 years for an audit. What would you suggest in that situation?
Yes, I've been in audits where the auditor was okay with the financial statements, right? I've been in audits where the auditor said they disallowed the statements, right? They say, "Well, great, you have the statements, but also show us the receipts," right? So my thoughts are having your records together, have an orderly system where you've kept your receipts. I say do it on a monthly basis. At the close of each month, tally up your receipts. If you don't do it on a sooner basis, no later than a month, because it's really difficult to take, let's say, 6 months, 12 months worth of receipts and start to tallying them up in categories. So
Uh,
yeah.
I tell people, you know, I'm an accountant as well. I always tell people, email, have a company email, and when you get a receipt, email it to yourself and just have everything in email, because it does get hard to have paper receipts, and that stuff gets lost, and that's kind of old school to have a filing cabinet full of receipts. But everything is digital now, so if you can just make sure you're emailing yourself everything, and make sure you actually get a receipt, even when you get gas or anything like that, just you ask for the receipt. They have to provide it for you.
That's a good point. QuickBooks also has the ability to scan in receipts and will store your receipts for you.
Okay, awesome.
Hmm.
We do have a quick question. Can you talk more about owing taxes and offsetting it on your IRA? I didn't catch all that.
Oh, definitely. So, so there now that 2024 is over, there's not anything that you can do to actually change the tax results. At this point in time, if you don't have an existing retirement plan and you haven't maxed out your existing retirement plan, you have the ability to also contribute an additional $7,000 to an IRA account and be credited to the previous year. So if I made a contribution today, I can let the advisor know, is this a contribution for 2024 or is it a contribution for 2025? All right. If you're getting your taxes filed and you show that you have a balance due, my suggestion would be that is your last effort in as far as trying to reduce your taxable income.
Okay. Have another question. Can you just have receipts if you don't have a P&L?
Yes, yes. It doesn't matter what system that you use. The P&L just really helps you kind of minimize the effort in trying to put your write-offs together. But I mean, a lot of people will deliver shoe boxes of receipts to me, and I'll put them together for them. But I think if you have any type of business, you should be doing this on a frequent basis, just so that you know your numbers.
Right. Okay. What are some of the things that a person can write off? Because there's so many things that you can write off. What are some of the major things that you can write off, and what are some of the things that people think they can write off that you actually can?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, on my website on trojanaccountinginc.com, there is an intake sheet. Intake sheet, I think it's somewhere around page number 9. It is a full list of every item that you can deduct. Now, the laws have changed. Since Donald Trump has been in office, there's been a lot of things that's been removed from a personal tax return. So for an individual, the most common write-offs are medical, dental, vision, charitable contribution that could be cash or items, mortgage interest, property tax, points on the loan, right? Just for an individual, that's pretty much the sum of what you're writing off as an individual. As a business, the rule of thumb is any and all expenses that you incurred to run that business should be a deduction. The mileage on the car should be tracked, right? And that's the other thing. The Internal Revenue will allow you to utilize the miles as a deduction, but you have to have a mileage log. I've been in audits where the person didn't have a mileage log, and the Internal Revenue would allow you to put together a Google log. Okay, well, on what days did you travel? Oh, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, how many miles? And so you could provide the Google map as a part of the audit.
Okay.
Hmm.
And last couple questions. Would you suggest someone using TurboTax to file themselves if they are not a tax expert? Because I've known people who've used TurboTax and ended up in an audit because they didn't understand what was actually going on.
Yeah, my advice if you use Turbo, and there's nothing wrong with Turbo because when I started my business back in 1998, that's all I had. That's all I knew was TurboTax, right? And so if you just have a straight W 2, right? If it's not complicated, I would suggest using a system like Turbo because it would save you because now you don't have to pay a tax preparer hundreds of dollars to have the taxes put together. It's simple, right? And then there's also options within the Internal Revenue. The Internal Revenue, they also have free options on their website to file your taxes. So if you have a very simple tax return, my suggestion would be, yeah, definitely use TurboTax or the options that the IRS provides.
Okay. And does a person need to? Because I know taxes can get a little complicated. Can you have no knowledge at all and just use TurboTax and be successful, or should you just kind of have a little bit of information to know what you're doing? Because, like I said, audit doesn't usually take place the next year. It's a couple years down the road.
Yeah, no, good point. If the taxes are pretty straightforward, I think TurboTax has been built well enough where it kind of runs you through an interview system. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you go to school? If you went to school, add the information here. So great thing about TurboTax, it will guide you through the process. And it'll once it guides you through, it allows you to put the information in. The thing is, if you don't know what questions to ask and what information that you're missing out on, I wouldn't recommend it. Only if you have something very simple, like maybe one or two W-2s, I would say TurboTax should suffice.
Okay. Well, and I always suggest hiring a tax preparer because things can get complicated. And as you make more money, things get a little more complicated. You have a lot more things going on. So I'm always a fan of hiring a tax professional, which is Mr. Adrain Ducan. You can find him at TrojanAccountingInc.com, which is scrolling across the bottom. And how would someone, if they're looking to find a tax preparer like yourself, are your services available out of state, or are you only available in California?
Oh, great question. One of the things that happened right after COVID, it made me available for anyone in any state. And in a lot of cases, most people don't come into the office. And so, as a preparer, we understand taxes not only on the federal side, which is the IRS, but also each state. So we're able to file taxes in any state of that you live in. And so, yeah, I'm available, and you can always reach me. All my contact information is on my website. But if not, I don't know if it's okay if I can give my number out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it's 310-283-3767. That's you can always reach me or text me on that number. And I've been a tax preparer since 1998. I've come from a family of accountants.
And can I get that number again, please?
What's that?
Can I get your number again, please?
310-283-3767.
3767. Okay, so I just want to put that up there so people can find you. And Mr. Adrain does my taxes, so he is my personal tax preparer. I can definitely vouch for him. He does an amazing job. I'm probably going to transition some of my accounting over to him because I do it for a living during the daytime. I don't want to do it at night. I'm done. I'm accounting out. No more for me. But before you go, make sure if you've enjoyed Mr. Adrain, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If we have any final questions for Mr. Ducan before I let him go, because like I said, any other time you get a tax preparer, you're gonna have to probably pay for those services. So if you have any final questions, please drop them in the comment section right now. We'd be happy to answer them. Hope we have another question. Can you prepare taxes for states in states in other California? Yes, he just answered that. He can prepare taxes in other states, in any state, because like you said, most people do not come in office anymore. So if you're looking for someone to prepare your taxes, I would definitely suggest Mr. Ducan and get your taxes prepared. So like I said, the website is right there. I just put up the phone number, but we'll talk about it again. So I'll bring up that information before the end of the show. And like I said, I didn't want to keep you too long, Mr. Ducan. So I want to thank you again for coming on. And please, please, please go to Mr. Ducan's website, TrojanAccountingInc.com, and inquire about his services. He's not just preparing taxes, he also offers accounting services as well. So,
Man,
thank you. I would love to have you back anytime you would like to come back on the show and speak about anything, sir. We would love to have you back. And, I'll be contacting you probably next week or the week so when I get all my documents so we can get started on my taxes. Oh.
Yeah. Man, thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience, man. It's definitely a pleasure. I appreciate you entrusting me and providing information to your group, and would love to come back anytime you would ask me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. My audience appreciates you, and we will definitely be in touch.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful evening, sir, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Boom! So that was my tax preparer, Mr. Adrain Ducan. Amazing. Does a lot of good stuff. I was suggested to him by another friend of mine, and I think this will be year number 3. So this will be my 3rd year using him as my tax preparer. So if you're looking for someone to prepare your taxes, he's amazing. He knows all this stuff. And like I said, taxes can be very complicated. It's a lot. but me as an accountant as well, make sure you keep your receipts. You need to have a good filing system because the IRS does not audit you immediately. They come after you later. So you want to make sure you have all those things in place and everything that you need in place so you don't get audited. So we're going to go pay some bills real quick, and I will be right back. Back, and let me make sure I get all this done. Oh, do I still have more? Oh, let me make sure I let him out. Okay, boom. There we go. All right. So what did y'all think? What did you think about that? What did you think about that? This first guest, going to bring in some more guests. I'm going to look. My next person I'm trying to bring on an insurance agent to talk homeowners insurance because we got a lot of fires. So I'm going to start bringing on guests once a month. So drop your comments. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to know how you feel about that. You got anything, anything that you would like to share with the audience about taxes? So let's get into it. Thank you for trying to 5387, and thank you all for tuning in. If you are new to the show, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This is Cheap Not Broke, where we talk live life at your price. My job is to help you find out how much you can pay for things and you don't get burned. Because hey, everybody has a different price, but we all gotta live life. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Oh, my mom's watching. Hi, Mom. Great information. Thank you. So, like I said, I want to start bringing on good people to help facilitate good information because I don't know everything. I'm corporate accountant. So, far as the small business and stuff, I don't know that. I deal with the companies with a couple $100 million. That's more my lane with accounting. But I will say this about QuickBooks. I am in the process of working on. I am going to have a QuickBooks course. So give me probably till March. I am going to start teaching QuickBooks because I use QuickBooks a lot. I use QuickBooks personally myself for my comedy business. So when I'm doing comedy, like when I shot my special, I created an LLC for that. And, with everything that I do on YouTube, all my services that I use, I have to pay for this. Got to pay for, what I have to pay for? All the stuff that I use. QuickBooks costs money. This that I'm using right now costs money. I use Canva to create all my thumbnails. All these things cost money. So QuickBooks is a great, easy service to use. And like I said, it's only $35 a month. It's QuickBooks Online, and it's not only on your computer. You can also use it on your phone. You can create invoices as well. You can also create vendors. You can get bills, pay bills on there. So QuickBooks houses everything. It's a great service to have. Not very hard to use. So I'm going to be in the process of teaching people how to use QuickBooks. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Well, we're not done yet. We still got interesting news, but hopefully you all enjoyed Mr. Adrain Ducan. I'm going to bring on more professionals, and we're going to keep it going. So with that being said, let me I'm going to turn that back up. So with that being said, we're going to get on to some of that. You know what time it is. It's time for some of that interesting news. Hopefully, you got your papers because they locking people up. ICE is out here locking folks up. Great information. Thank you, Mr. Hall. You know who that is. That's my dad. So thank you, Dad. I appreciate that. We got some good information for you tonight. Let me get my news articles pulled up because I was trying to get everything straight for Mr. Ducan to come on. But I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Like I said, I'm gonna start bringing on more professionals, more people to talk about things that I don't know. I don't know everything. So we're going to do that. Now, this is good. I thought this was a good story. Great story to have. Walmart is making some change. Now, hey, you people are talking bad about Walmart and the diversity inclusion program. We'll get into that in a second because I do want to talk about the DEI program, about a lot of people are losing a lot of people have gotten rid of the diversity is it inclusion equity program, the DEI program. I forgot what the E stand for, but you know what I'm talking about. The DEI program. A lot of people have changed how they feel and what they're doing with that. So if I can just get my, I'm trying to get that to pull up real quick. Let's see. Well, anyway, well, we're going to get it. We're just going to talk. I'm trying to get this share. But anyway, some Walmart managers get a pay bump pushing compensation over $600,000. Walmart don't pay people on the floor, but if you're in corporate Walmart, they're giving you that money. So let's talk about it. Certain Walmart managers are getting a pay bump, pushing their total compensation, including stock grants and bonuses, to well over $600,000. The nation's largest private employer is raising the salary range for its market managers who supervise store managers in a dozen locations from $130,000 to $260,000 a year, or from $160,000 to $260,000. However, Walmart said majority of its 444 market managers across the U.S. already fall into that. Talk about diversity and inclusion, but they getting people paid out here. The company is also raising its annual stock grant from $75,000 to $100,000, increasing the bonus potential up to 100% of their salary from 90%. Now, Walmart got rid of their diversity inclusion program, so they're not trying to hire as many people of color, black people, Negroes, whatever you want to call it. But if you do work for Walmart, you can get your money. Now, I did want to talk about the DEI programs and them ending. Now, me personally, I'm not really shocked about them ending that, but how the heck are you going to know they're doing it or not? Because you don't know if that's actually true. It's not like they're putting out the numbers about that. You know, when you apply for the job, are you black, white, Hispanic? Are you? Because out here they'll ask you, are you gay, straight, or transgender? They ask you that on the applications too. So for these diversity inclusion programs, how do we know this is even happening in the first place? They're saying they're getting rid of the diversity inclusion program. Well, it's not like they're putting the numbers out. All you got to do is look around and see, is there anybody that look like me working around here? And 9 times 10, probably not. I know a lot of the places I work for, now California, you got pretty diverse workforces. I haven't worked for the places just been straight white people. It's been a lot of black people, Mexican, Asian. Wherever I've worked in California, it's always been a pretty diverse staff. Now, other states, not so much. But for these companies be getting rid of their diversity inclusion program, diversity DEI programs, how do we know they were actually doing it in the damn first place? It's not like they put out the numbers. And if they choose not to, what you going to do about it? File a lawsuit? You got to sue. So I don't know how this all works. That's why I want to bring on an attorney. I want to bring on somebody who's versed in law to understand this. Because let's say they have a diversity program, but they're not hiring diverse people. What do you do about that? If you don't get hired by a company, you're not going to double back. Well, they're not hiring black people. Let me go file a lawsuit. How do you know? How do you know? That is my question. How do you know they're even doing this? So for them to get rid of the programs, I don't even think they were doing it in the first damn place. Because a lot of times when I go look at corporate places, in corporate offices, I don't see a bunch of diversity. Yes, it's diverse somewhat. Now, me, I see diversity, but I've worked for startup companies, real small companies, so it's very diverse. But on the grand scale, like Walmart, your Targets, all these places getting rid of the diversity inclusion program, how do we know they were even being diverse in the first place? It's not like they put out the numbers. So, but the solution to that is, because I've been listening to a lot of small business owners, and they're talking about boycotting Target and Walmart. Let me tell you this. I'm not boycotting. I don't have nowhere else to go. They shut down the 99-cent store out here in California. If you know, I used to do all my content. Cheap Not Broke got started in the 99-cent store. I used to do all my content in the 99-cent store. And they closed down. And also Dollar Tree, you don't see them like that much. You don't see them as much anyway. So these places, if you're going to boycott, where are you going to go? That's my question. Where are you going to go? You got to have somewhere to go. If I'm not going to go to Target, if I'm not going to go to Walmart, I'm going to go somewhere else. Fine. Am I still going to get the same prices? Because, I'm cheap, not broke. I'm price conscious. Price matters to me. I don't want to be getting overcharged here and getting overcharged there. So when people are talking about boycotting, you also got to consider those entrepreneurs, those small businesses that you're going to hurt in the stores. Because I've been listening to a lot of different people discuss, If you boycott, you're going to stop our sales. We're not going to get the attention that we need by being on those shelves. And then if they're not getting the attention they need, if they're not getting the numbers, they're going to run them about it. They're going to have to get up off of that shelf. So when you think about, well, I'm not going to Target, not going to Walmart because they're dropping their diversity program. Who the hell knows they were being diverse in the first place? It sounds good. But prove it. Prove it. You've never gone anywhere and seen an all-black staff. Only place I see an all-black staff usually is in Atlanta at Delta. Now, Delta hires black people. That's for sure. Whenever you go to Atlanta, you're going to see a whole lot of people working for Delta. Who else is not getting rid? Now, Costco said they will not be getting rid of their DEI program. Costco said, no, we're not doing that. They had a shareholder vote, and they voted against it. So, but I understand it. I get why they're doing it. Look, people are going to be loyal to where the money is. Trump said, get rid of this, and you're going to do something for my business. That's what people are doing. Do I agree with it? No, but I understand how business works. Now, if you're going to benefit from the Trump administration, hey, you got to do what you got to do. It's about that dollar. We're about them dollars. And if you're going to, people are upset with Snoop. We talked about this last week. People are upset with Snoop and Nelly for performing for Donald Trump. Look at people about that money. And people are going to do what they got to do to get that paper. That's what it's about. So you can feel how you want to feel about it. Get upset. Look, this is about business, and people are going to do what's best in their business. If Kamala Harris got in office, they're going to do whatever they got to do to get on her side for business. People lobby. These companies lobby. They want laws changed in their favor. So it don't matter who's in office. It don't matter. It matters not. It doesn't matter at all. They're going to go with whoever has the hot hand. You got the ticket, we coming over there. You got the ticket, we coming over there. They're loyal to nobody. So as soon as everything goes back blue, they're going to run over there to who's got the blue. When Obama was office, people were cutting checks to them. And when these companies lobby, they're cutting $20 million checks. They're cutting big-ass checks. Big checks to get the law changed in their favor. Just like you. If I'm going to vote, okay, yeah, I'm going to go vote. But if I can give you $200 and you're going to get me what I need, well, take my $200. I don't care if I like you or not. It's business. It's about business. And business is ugly. But people going to do what they're going to do in the best interest of their business. So, yes, I know you might be in your feelings about it, but people got to do what's in the best interest of their business. And some of these smaller companies, they're going to do what's in the best interest of their business, and they're not going to pull out of Walmart. Like, if I had a product, if Cheat Not Broke was being sold in Walmart and Target, am I pulling my product out because of the diversity inclusion program? No. I'm just going to have to hire a more diverse staff in my company. I'm just going to have to make sure I handle that on my back end. But I can't make Walmart and Target hire whoever they want to hire. But I can also make sure that I'm hiring the people that I need to hire to continue to make sure my business is rolling along, that was my next topic. My next topic was going to be talking about that, but it is what it is. Speaking of which, Snoop has lost 500,000 followers off of this stuff. I don't think anybody cares. He's going to be fine. He's going to still keep his money. But like I said in the other story, I wasn't upset about it because I know Snoop, he had a little league football team. He had a documentary about that. His son played for the team. He was doing a lot of things for the kids. So I'm not going to just sit there and turn my back on Snoop like that. I don't really care. I'm just not being out of shape about that stuff. Doesn't really matter to me, but that's how that stuff goes. Let's see. Where's my other story? Yes. Kia recalls over 80,000 vehicles due to improper airbag deployment and improper wiring. Automaker Kia is recalling 80,000 vehicles due to floor wiring beneath the front passenger seat that can become damaged and prevent airbags and seat belts from deploying properly. Damaged wiring also can cause unintended side curtain airbag deployment, according to documents filed with the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. Let's see. This covers over 80,000 vehicles. This covers the 2023 to 2025 Nero EV, the plug-in hybrid, and other hybrid vehicles. It's not listing all of the vehicles that they want out there. But if you do have a Kia, you probably want to look into this because I'm not sure if they're going to mail this information to you at your house. So if you do have a Kia, you probably want to take a look into that and see what is going on and how that's going to how that's going to affect you, because you don't want to be in a situation where you do need your airbags, you do need this stuff to deploy, and you weren't in the know about that happening. All right, let's go to our next story. Let's see. Oh, yes. Insurance. California insurance. Now, I've really been doing my research and diligence on this, and the insurance companies, let's talk about this for a second. You know, people are talking about why. I want to know, why are the insurance companies canceling? Why are the insurance companies canceling people's policies? Insurance companies weren't making money. Apparently, there's a prop, I think it's Prop 38, Prop 30. One of the props was not allowing insurance companies to raise their prices. So, the insurance company was only being capped. They couldn't increase what they were charging customers. With that being said, they're like, well, look, we can't be in a situation where we're going belly up. The insurance company, I'm not on their side, but they do have to make X amount of dollars to pay out. Insurance company can't make $100 million and then they got to pay out 99. They're going out of business. Insurance company, you know, they make $100 million. They're only trying to pay out 25, 30 million. They're trying to keep, they're a for-profit company, and they have shareholders. And when this big fire happened, it put a lot of strain on them, so they're having problems paying. Now, the state does have a fund that they do have offer state insurance, but the state insurance will run dry too. All these buckets can dry up because there's a national disaster. Everybody's making claims at the same time. It's going to make it hard for them to pay. So it's unfortunate that this happened, but you know, you think about car insurance. When car insurance companies, isn't the likelihood every car in the city getting in an accident at one time is very slim to none. So people have accidents every day, but it's not everybody. So they're having to pay out a little bit here, pay out a little there, pay out a little here. So when this comes to insurance companies, the insurance companies can only pay out what they make, or they're going belly up. So like I said, I'm not on the side of the insurance company. Health insurance, that's hell on earth. That's a whole nother situation. I'm going to bring on somebody to talk about health insurance too, because we really got to get into that. Health insurance is a whole nother thing. Health insurance is the point where you don't even know what you're paying. You don't even know what you're paying. How much is a broke leg? How much is a broken finger? How much is a headache? You don't know. It's not like you can go down, well, how much is going to broke leg? I broke my leg. You don't know. You don't know. And most of the time in health insurance, you don't know how much it's going to cost until you're in that situation. So when it comes to this insurance thing, the insurance company's about making money, but they do have to continuously raise the premiums so they can keep enough money in the pot to pay out. And I don't think no insurance company plans to pay out like this. They just don't. So the insurance company, the insurance situation is a mess. I don't agree with I don't agree with them canceling people's policies, but just want to get down to the nitty gritty of it and understand why there will be why there was so much backlash on that. Okay, let me see. And I had another story for you. Had some other stories that were going on out here. Like I said, Costco is keeping their diversity inclusion program, so we need to talk about that. And oh yes, here's what I wanted to get into. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this. If you haven't watched, it's a TV show. Great TV show. It's called Dope Sick. Dope Sick is on FX. It's speaking about the opioid epidemic and the Purdue Pharma, tongue twister. Purdue Pharma, the Sackler family. The Sackler family, they are the people who really control. They own Purdue Pharma. They're the ones who really had a lot to do with this opioid epidemic. All right, I don't know if you remember down in Florida years ago, they had the pill mill. People were driving all the way out of state from Florida to get pills because Florida had really lax laws on prescription drugs. That has since changed. But Purdue Pharma Sackler family owes an agreed landmark of $7.4 billion opioid settlement. I don't know if you noticed this. A lot of Rite Aids, a lot of CVS's and Walgreens have closed because they were filed lawsuits. A lot of people filed lawsuits against them, and they lost. And Rite Aid's damn near no more. I don't know if any Rite Aids in Los Angeles at all. There used to be a Rite Aid down the street from my house. I used to go there all the time, but they're closed. But Purdue Pharma and Sackler family owners have reached a new $7.4 billion settlement to resolve thousands of lawsuits alleging that the pain medication Oxycontin caused widespread opioid addiction crisis in the U.S. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said Thursday. The settlement was announced nearly 7 months after U.S. Supreme Court upended the company's previous attempt to resolve the lawsuits. They were trying not to pay. Got your ass. In the bankruptcy settlement, they would have granted the Sackler family a sweeping civil immunity from opioid lawsuits in exchange for a payment of $6 billion. Nope, they said no. The Supreme Court ruled that the Sacklers, who did not file bankruptcy themselves, were not entitled to legal protections meant to give bankruptcy debtors a fresh start. Under the new settlement, the Sackler will pay $7.4 billion without fully shutting off lawsuits from states, local governments, and individual victims from the opioid epidemic. Now, I bet they're going to have to pay this out over 20 years. They're not going to bust them upside the head. Y'all got to cut one big-ass check. They're not going to do that. Those who do not wish to join the settlement are free to pursue lawsuits against the Sacklers, who have said they would vigorously defend themselves in court. People got a lot of money. I don't know if you go to the doctor's office and you go look at the you go see the scale pain. Most pain, the little pain. The sack. Let me hang it. Why is my stuff not pulling up tonight? You're embarrassing me. I got to try to pull this up because this is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to pull this thing up. I want y'all to see this, but it is not allowing me to do so. It's not allowing me to do so. Overlays. Where is it? Where's the share button? It is not allowing me to share what I want to share. But anyway, there's a pain scale out there. You see the smiley faces. You've all seen it. When you walk into the doctor's office, you see the sad face. And then you see the happy face. And it's like on a scale 1 to 10, how much pain you're in. Well, I watched this. There's a documentary on HBO about the Sackler family. Watch that first. Then go watch Dope Sick. It'll give you all the information that you want to understand about opioids and pain medication here. Well, they created that. They created the pain medication scale. The smiley faces. That was them. Brilliant marketing. But them, and what I learned in watching the show is you can't put a price on pain. That's what they keep saying. You can't put a price on pain. People will pay anything they want to get out of pain. And they were hiring all these insurance reps to push the pain medication. And these insurance reps were making a whole lot of money. Pushing opioids, especially Oxycontin. As you know, people are doing Oxycontin, sniffing it up, doing all kind of stuff with the Oxycontin, getting in big trouble with that stuff. But they got their ass. They got to pay $7.4 billion, and I'm trying to figure out how much longer they got to pay this. How long do they have to pay this? Because last time, in addition to the payments made to the state and local governments, the settlement will set aside between $850 million to pay individual victims of the opioid crisis. Now, I don't know how many victims are out there. Anytime I've been a part of a class action lawsuit, I only got $20. I used to drive for Lyft, and they went through a class action lawsuit because they were just, if I'm reading this correctly, they were not disclosing drivers' pay fully. They weren't telling you how much we were getting paid, all this stuff. So sued them for millions of dollars. Lyft had to cut $40, $50 million check. I got $20. Still got the check right now. I hadn't cashed it yet, but I might. When I need some gas, or I'm going to give me something to eat. When they get these big lawsuits, these class action lawsuits, you don't get a lot of money. There's so many people who are part of the class action lawsuit, you don't get much. Now, to go after them themselves, you're going to need some dog lawyers. You're going to need some dogs that can get after these people, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now, Rite Aid really took a hit. Rite Aid took a hit so much from those lawsuits, they closed a lot of their stores. I'm telling you, I challenge you to go look for a Rite Aid right now. You probably won't find one. Rite Aid is no longer really in business because they bust them upside the head. Now, the Sackler family, let's be honest, they're still selling Oxycontin. Oxycontin is still being sold to this day. I don't know if there's any provisions changed. Because, people getting pain, that's the first thing they offer you. People get hooked on it, and they come back for more and more and more. And that's how it goes. People were selling it on the streets. It's bad. Oxycontin is no different than some of the stuff you buy off the streets. It's no different than, some of the I don't want to say it on YouTube. I don't want to flag my video. The H word or the C word. You know what I'm saying? Some of that other stuff, that heavy stuff. Some of that stuff that hits and go like that. You know what I'm talking about. That stuff. So it's around the same thing. It's just in a bottle with a place of cotton. It's no different. So I went to the hospital and I learned a lot about it. There's a lot of stuff you should learn. If they offer opioids to you, do your research. Understand what the heck you're taking. People get hooked on that stuff and it's hard to get off. So if you're offered opioids, be very, very, very smart and understand what the heck you're taking. There's good people in the show. If you're not going to watch the show, I'm going to tell you how it kicks off. A guy's in a car accident and his back is hurting. He can't work. And he's at home. And he starts getting hooked on drugs. Ends up losing his family, losing his kids. It's bad. It's bad. Really, really bad. These opioids, they can be bad for you. So if you can ask for alternatives to opioids, do so. When you're in the hospital, they will offer these things to you. Make sure you have an advocate there for you, because first thing they're going to do is offer you opioids, and you don't want to be in there hooked on that stuff. So then you might be out of it. You're in pain. So make sure you have an advocate in the hospital with you to make sure you don't get put on that stuff, because once you get on, it's hard to get off of that stuff. It's really hard to get off all that stuff. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Cheap Not Broke. Subscribe to Cheap Not Broke. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're at like 1,400, something like that. On the way 1,500. Got a long ways to go. But with your help, sharing the show, sharing the information, sharing my shorts, because shorts come out every day. I put out shorts every day on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Cheap Not Broke. Make sure you follow me on all platforms. And also, I need 100 people to go and follow me on Facebook. The Cheap Not Broke Facebook page. I need 100 people to follow me on there so I can go live on Facebook again. Until then, I can no longer go live on my Cheap Not Broke Facebook page. Mark Zuckerberg, you're an asshole for that. But I appreciate everybody go on there and follow me for those reasons. All right. And that's what we got for the show tonight. Like I said, Mr. Adrain Ducan, Trojan Accounting Inc.com. TrojanAccountingInc.com. Make sure you head over there. Follow him. Make sure you follow him because he's great. Very nice guy. He's very knowledgeable on taxes, very knowledgeable on accounting, and he's someone that looks like you. So if you're interested in finding someone that looks like you, someone that you can trust, I vouch for him. A1. Make sure you head over there and check him out. All right, everybody. That's what I got for you on the show tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday for Wednesday Rant. And ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement. I will now be going live on the weekends. I will be going live in the daytime because I know it's late for people on the East Coast. So I'm going to start doing a Saturday show. I haven't picked my time yet, but I will be starting to go live on the weekend during the daytime because there's a whole group of people that are asleep, and I want to make sure I'm getting to everybody. So if you could, look out for my show on Saturday night. We'll be going live. This will be 4 nights a week. At some point, we're going to be going live 7 nights a week. Not right now, though. But I will start going live on Saturdays. It will be early in the daytime. For those who can't always make it to the late show, I'm going to have the early show. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. I would appreciate it if you would go patronize Mr. Duncan's page at TrojanAccountingInc.com and get your taxes done. You don't want to get audited. And like he said, QuickBooks is a great way to track all your expenses, save your receipts. Just to go over a recap of what he spoke about. Nevada, if you're working for tips in Nevada, they are no longer taxed. We haven't found out. Everything has not been made clear about child support. If you're on child support, you will have the right to claim your child. I don't have all the information about that. I'm not going to get into that. If you're in California, in Los Angeles County, you do not have to file your taxes until October 15th. You got till October 15th to file your taxes. So make sure you do that. Great show, right on, brother, right on time. Yes, sir, right on time, because January 31st is going to be here in a couple of days, and that's when all the tax information got on. Thank you, YouTube user, and I appreciate your questions. Thank you, Mr. Phillips and John Hall. Thank you, Shauna5387. Thank you, Chad Roberts, for your comments tonight, and thank you all for watching. This is Cheap Not Broke. Make sure you like me on all platforms. If you haven't, go to cheapnotbroke.com. Grab yourself some merch. We got t-shirts. We got hats. We got everything you need to stay warm because it's cold out here. It's cold. So if you want to stay cheapnotbroke.com, cheapnotbroke.down, head over to cheapnotbroke.com and grab yourself some merch. I'm telling you, when they see you with that Cheap Not Broke shirt on, they can be like, let me get you a discount. I know you about that. I know you about the discounts. I know you about saving money. You don't have to ask for a discount. Just have your Cheap Not Broke shirt on. Let me fix my collar. Got my collar all jammed up. they will give you a discount. I'm trying to tell you, so many people have seen me with my Cheap Not Broke shirt on, and they're like, you know what, man, let me give you a discount. And if they do see you with your shirt on, you make sure you tell them to go subscribe to the page. I'm also working on athletic wear. I do have shoes. I do have shirts on there, but I'm also working on some women's athletic wear. So make sure you go over to the shirt and patronize that. Also, stand-up comedy. Please go to my stand-up comedy page, Malcolm Hall Comedy on YouTube and Malcolm Hall Comedy on TikTok. You can also watch my special, Who is Malcolm? Who is Malcolm on cheapnotbroke.com. It's free, no paywall. You want to just learn about who the hell I am? Go to cheapnotbroke.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to continue to bring on more guests, and I will let you know when the next one's coming on. It won't be on this week, but I will let you know as soon as I get my next guest on here. All right? I thank you all. Be safe. Take care. And remember, cheap, not broke. Live life at your price. I'll see y'all Wednesday night. Take care.